Aqueducts are a true engineering marvel of the ancient world. One of my favorites, one of my father's favorites as well. And now I'm going to show you how you can build these incredible structures in your settlement. Because you can do it, and they're insanely powerful and insanely useful. So why not build them? Welcome back, everybody, to another guide on Anno 117, talking about the aqueducts today, my friends. So if you're new here, please consider checking out the channel. I do stream this game quite a bit on Twitch, so by all means, if you'd like to go over there and drop a follow, be quite penetrated by your kindness. Along with that, if you're new here to begin with, consider checking out the channel anyway, and if you'd like to be part of a growing Imperium, I don't see why you wouldn't want to be, but it's 100% up to you, first and foremost. It's right over there, active every single day. We'd love for you to be a part of us, but again, you're here for the guide first, and I'm going to keep saying that, because that is the reason why you're here. And if you like the vibe, if you learn something, all that good stuff, then feel free to hang on by here. I would be very, very happy to get to know you and talk to you guys in the comment section. So, I don't even know why he's asking me for a settlement, because I'm just going to deny him anyway. The aqueducts are one of the most important mid-game building structures to get right. And that is because they have so many buffs and later on needs for all of your people. The first thing I want to turn your attention to is that the Equites do consider this to be a need for them, but it is on the same par as a theater, so you can provide either or. But in this situation, you do want to provide both, because the theater has its own uses, but the cistern for the aqueducts has its own benefits as well. How do you get this thing going? Well, first and foremost, you're going to need concrete for this. You do also need tiles and you need timber. So you have the three usual suspects. And the way to start the building itself is to go over down here to the Aqueduct tab. Alternatively, if you do not have this here, you can always go to the tier 3 equites, and it is the third one from the left. But I'm going to go from here. We have three little tabs in here, the first one being the aqueduct source. And this is what is built on mountain slots, so like right over there. Pretty cool. The next one is the aqueduct line, in which is going to transport the water down the hill to the final building being the cistern. Now the cistern is the one that provides the buffs. And I've already built down three, and we're going to talk about them and why they're in these particular locations. So let's go ahead and click on this aqueduct cistern itself. And you'll notice that every single one of these homes, except for the ones on the far end over here, have coverage by this cistern, or perhaps this one right over here. And the good thing about this is that it's providing +3 on the health and +3 on the fire. So the chances of those things happening are significantly less, right? And over here on the right, if we take a look-see at the text, there is a 70 out of 100 and a circle with the water. Then, don't care about him. Then you have 3 aqueduct sources that says -10 for each one. Well, here's how it works. The aqueduct source has a specific occupancy limit, and later on that can be increased, so don't worry about it. Currently, we are expending 30 of that for the 3 cisterns that we have available. And this is just a one source. Remember, you're going to get more than one. You can probably build more than one on your island, so don't worry. But there are reasons why we built one here, one there, and one here. The first one is to keep the health up and the fire safety up, and also to provide it to the equites. And there is a plethora of paved roads around, which I'm going to be talking about those in a little bit. But I do want to talk about why I built this one here and why I have built this one over here. Aqueducts later on with a specific research are going to boost the productivity of your farm fields. And it is so good, okay? It is so very good. Think of it like tractors to an extent from Anno 1800. Okay, and the way to do that is, again, through the research, which I have been working on, being right over here, duct irrigation. I want to talk about the economic tree for a single second. After you have the initial ones done, in my humble opinion, Latin research is, and past this point in this section, is the most important to get done as quickly as possible. I could be in the minority with this one. Many have different strategies when they go through the game, and that's totally fine. This is just a personal preference. Reason for that being is that you have increased workforce through the Villa Retinue having more of the Libertus, and then Blind Faith having the Plebeians. You have increased macro population. You can build offshore, so it's not just subject to putting your fisheries right on the shoreline. You can build them further out. You have the ability to replant trees for your resin trappers. And then obviously the duct irrigation here, which allows the aqueducts to benefit the farm fields, etc., making their productivity better. Finally, over here, this is water conservation, reduces the water consumption used by 20%, flat, perfect, done. Now, if you don't want to get the tech like that, there is another way to get duct irrigation. And you can see that if you go over here and click on your portrait at the top and go over to the Hall of Fame. I haven't talked about the Hall of Fame at all, but do note that through your playthroughs, you are going to be gaining fame points. And this is the spot where you can utilize those fame points. I would imagine when we have additional DLCs that come into the game, there are going to be more tabs. I'm not sure. It might just be this for the long term. I'm putting my hands up. I don't know. But in the event that you want to unlock duct irrigation, you would have to go through Latium and unlock a whole bunch until you get up through the tiers to reach tier 5, in which case duct irrigation is right over here for 60 fame points. Essentially what this means is the moment that you start up any game, this is already research for you, so you can just start it off the moment that you build an aqueduct, boom, it's going to start working with your farm fields. I don't have it unlocked clearly, as you can see. I'm working towards getting as many of these things done, but I have kind of decided I prefer the beautification options over just, like, for example, a Roman material pack. You might like that. I don't know. But there are also gods in here. Fun fact, there's no Minerva. So you have to legitimately research her. At any rate, if you're curious on how to get the fame points, they're over here in the Accolades tab. And you can just sift through these and see what you can do, what you can't do. And, you know, it's 100% up to you if you even want to engage in this. You have the easy, the moderates, and the hard mode ones to look at, but you can take a look-see at that later on. There are also additional buffs that you can get from the aqueducts themselves. Obviously, by building paved roads, it will extend their range quite a bit, because that's essentially what paved roads do for you. But along with that, I do want to turn your attention to something really cool, and that is, you know, devotion to Neptune. When you reach 4,000 global with him, you get this global buff, in which case buildings near the cisterns themselves will grant additional belief. So that's a third belief, or third buff on the cistern itself. Can you imagine how many points you're going to be getting from those? It's crazy. If we had a settlement that had expanded to where this one was and where this one was, and we had devotion to Neptune, we would be getting so many additional belief points. It's truly unbelievable. No? Okay, whatever. It's late. I'm trying to make it funny. Anywho, the flip side to that is, you might be wondering, well, hold on. If that happens, I only have to be praying to Neptune on that island to receive the belief bonus, right? Wrong. That pertains to every island because it's global. So long as you maintain the 4,000 threshold, with Neptune, then that means, let's say for all intents and purposes, there's another island. We can go over here. This island over here, you have an aqueduct source going down, and it provides you with a belief. It's not going to be going towards Neptune. No. It's going to be going towards Keres. So to increase her devotion meter. That's really freaking powerful and really fantastic to have. Which is why I'm saying that Neptune is definitely not a bad god to have when you're starting playthrough. I mean, obviously, we kind of look towards Keres a little bit more because she provides, you know, population boosts and the increased productivity on, like, your farms, etc. But do not ever sleep with this man. Well, I mean, don't sleep with him, period, at the end. But he can definitely help you out for a long, long time. Alternatively, your second settlement can be devoted to Neptune and get up to the 4,000 plus in order to keep that threshold going. And then finally, through the equities track, there is going to be 2 additional buildings that come through that require the cistern to be operational to begin with. Otherwise, they won't even function. We're not at that stage yet, but once we get to it, you will see what I'm talking about. And at this point, it goes without saying, getting as many paved roads as possible is important. But do note that both paved roads and the aqueduct line itself are going to start having incremental maintenance costs that can potentially ramp up if you're not careful. For the purposes of the guide, I don't know if I said this earlier or not. I've tried to explain this about 7 times now and have failed each and every time. So do forgive me if I am a little bit repetitive. I do apologize. I have built a small settlement here. Normally, I would have a lot more built on an island. So my maintenance balance right over here would be a lot better. And that's essentially what you want to do. You want to expand your reach. So I guess in the next one, I can build some houses over here and expand to like over here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But essentially, you want to make sure that you're making enough money because the paved roads also do have a maintenance cost of 1 denarii per 10 tiles. And just to give you a little example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That would be 10 for them. And that would be 10 for the aqueduct. 10 tiles, I mean, not denarii payments. So it'd be 5 denarii maintaining that one right over there, and it would be 1 denarii maintaining this bit of road right over there. So just make sure to bear that in mind. There is one other thing I would like to mention to you, and this is more than likely going to be dated by the in the future if you guys happen to come across this video, and that is a little glitch that's happening with aqueducts specifically. If you were to put the source down in a blueprint fashion over, let's say, this mountain slot, and then you try to go and build it, even though I do have everything to build the structure, it essentially is telling me that I can't. It's grayed out. So do note that this is a current issue, and it's been like less than a month and the game's been out at this point. So do know that's a thing. In order to build it, just get rid of the blueprint, head back over here to the aqueduct source, remove the planning mode, and then you can put down another aqueduct source like so. The other thing is that it pertains to the aqueduct length or the track itself. Sometimes what I have seen happen is when it's in a blueprint mode like this and you drag over it, yeah, like over there was a little bit of a test. You see that? It's not getting the full thing, even though I am starting from this one corner, right? It doesn't grab it all the time, and you might find yourself in a situation, let's say if I build all of this, and I build this, and this, that this little piece in the middle is not connected up, and then you're going to go to your cistern and be like, well, what the hell is happening? Because I see, hold one moment, this little icon over the top, that there's no water supplied. It's just because there's one little section that's still blueprinted, and you have to find it and build it up. And see, like, even with that, it did another little section. So now it's connected up and it's going towards the source, right? But now we don't have a road to it, so obviously it's not going to work. But do note that those are 2 things that are currently happening with aqueducts right now, and it will more than likely be rectified as soon as they can possibly figure out what's going on with it. But I do hope that you guys found this to be informative. There is one little cool thing I can show you finally at the end. I should have done that as well. If you hit Control-Shift-R on your keyboard, if you are playing on mouse and keyboard, you can go down to first-person mode. And if you hit number 2, you can turn to a Legionnaire, or number 3, you can go to an Archer. But if you go towards the aqueduct itself, it's kind of difficult to see, but it is a little highlighted with a gray outline. If you click it, you can go for a little log flume down. Is this entirely sanitary? No, it is not. Is it advisable? Hell no. If you are found in the ancient world doing this, you would more than likely be crucified. But you can do it here, and you can take a look-see at your settlement as your guy is just going through the line. But until next time, my friends, thank you so much. Please consider like, commenting, subscribing, hitting that bell button, sharing it with your friends. If you have any questions, by all means, put it in that comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer it. And I'll catch you in the next guide, my Rantians.